My name is Robert Lewis. I'm a storyteller. That's me. They wanted to hear about my life, how I grew up, and how I became a storyteller.
So, Robert Lewis, tell us where you were born, who your parents are.
It's pretty simple, really. Pull up a chair and I'll tell you. I was born here in Oklahoma, at the Claremore Indian Hospital, on October 10th, 1965. My mother is Cherokee, Lou Aline Kingfisher Lewis. My father is Josey Lewis. He's Navajo and Apache. Born on a sand dune in Arizona. So when my dad was about 16, he ended up being adopted to a family in Tulsa. He stayed with them for a little while, and then they left him. So he made his own way from there, doing odd jobs and boot repairs. That's when he met my mom at a bus stop in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they got married soon after. Mom always wanted to have little girls. Girls are important in our society because Cherokee women passed down the clan lineage. But instead, she had 4 boys, and she was happy with a big family. There's Philip, John Mark, myself, and Paul. Paul's the youngest. We all graduated from high school and turned out the way we were supposed to. At least that's what my dad says. Third one, he wanted to be an artist, and that was me. I love art, I love painting, I love drawing. I would draw on everything. I just kind of scrap, I would draw on it. And as I got older, I got better and better at it. We grew up in Salina, a little bitty town in northeastern Oklahoma, in Cherokee country. They recently just got a stoplight. Living in a small town, you could walk 10 minutes and be anywhere you needed to go. So I walked everywhere. I never got my driver's license. No, I just got rides to places if I needed to go. And then the nation called and says, we'd like to offer you this job. I said, oh, it involves travel. I like that. Okay, you can do storytelling and cultural programs. I like that even better. And then it says, nobody's going to chauffeur you. You have to get a license. You got to drive. So after years of not driving, I'm getting back into a car. Hands are shaking. It's a fear of driving. Anybody who has a fear of snakes, spiders, heights, planes, some type of fear that people have talking in front of anybody, deep water, that's basically magnified when I was sitting in front of that car. And I get the job, and the first big city I'm sent to by the Cherokee Nation after I finally get a license is LA. So after not driving for years, I'm pulling out of a parking lot in LA in a rental car. I said, okay, let's drive like they do. Drove out there, got in LA, and so I'm dodging, I'm weaving, I'm doing 80, 90, I'm falling on the flow of traffic. After about 2 or 3 days, I said, oh, I like this. I can do this. I'm just whipping around with everybody. And then when I get back to Tulsa, I come barreling out of there at like 90 miles an hour at Tulsa Airport. Then I realize everybody's driving slow. Now it's 55. And then I'm like, feel like a turtle. And after that, my fear of driving was gone. So your fears can go away. See? You can learn a lot about a person by listening to their stories. When I was growing up, I would hear stories from my dad. He would tell stories about the coyote or bear, and I'd listen to that. We went to a trip to Arizona, stopped at the panhandle of Texas, and the stars were showing up, and so I'm sitting there looking at all the stars, and they're beautiful. And my dad looked at me and says, do you know how the stars got up in the sky? And I said, big bang, big ball of dust went up. And he said, no, sit down. And then he told me a story about how the coyote put up stars up in the sky. And then the coyote wanted his portrait better than anybody else's, but couldn't make it just right, so he got frustrated and flung them. And they were scattered across the sky. My dad said, if you look up hard enough, you can see them. You can see a bear, you can see a wolf, deer, people, scorpion, but you gotta look for them. So the creator, to remind the coyote, you finish what you start, put the moon up in the sky. So when the coyote looks up, sees the moon and sun, the creator says, you have to sing to me. So this is why coyotes howl at dawn and dusk, and why your stars are scattered across the sky. So I heard this story. I was 7 years of age on this trip to Arizona. And then I got back in the car. My dad probably just thought he just told a story and driving the car. Didn't think much about it. But I'm the one that's asking him all these questions. Which animal did the coyote put up first? He says, what's the moon up there for again? And I was just getting all this information so that I could have the story to myself. Well, life goes on. And as I got older, I had a few jobs here and there and ended up working at the Cherokee Heritage Center. So then I started going out and I started gathering all these other stories. They started offering me storytelling at the Heritage Center as part of the things. You can go learn, play stickball with the kids, do marbles with the sticks. We have a storyteller. And it became popular because I would pull people out to involve them in the story. I would pull them out to get them interested in it. And I discovered something. When I pulled them out to involve them with the story, picking one kid to be the wolf, one kid to be the bear, one kid to be a chipmunk, whatever the story was, those kids would remember it. And a year would go by and they'd see me again and say, hey, you're the storyteller. They didn't remember my name. You're the storyteller. Now I travel around the 14 counties of the Cherokee Nation and throughout Oklahoma and the country, telling stories. There's some stories about Kanati, the first hunter, and Selu, and those have been passed down. They're so old, we don't know how old they are. I tell the story of the great crawdad, another one about the rabbit who won't be quiet. And there's one about the medicine possum, or the fire story that tells how all the animals got burned. All of the stories are teaching the kids something, how things came to be, how to be a better person, how to be more understanding of people who are different, that sort of stuff. They have meaning, and the stories are a part of who I am, and who we are, and how we came to be here together. So there you go. That's my story. Wadon.